dealer busting PSNI style. Over 70 officers are involved. It's a carefully coordinated operation to swoop on the homes of 6 suspects. The element of surprise is crucial. There's no time to dispose of drugs. The suspect comes clean on his ecstasy stash. More than 200 tablets are found in a box under the bed. But the police aren't finished yet. The specialist drugs dog has picked up a scent. And it isn't long before he finds a secret stash of cocaine carefully concealed in the bed frame. The suspect is arrested and charged with possession with intent to supply. Police claim operations like this show they are winning the battle against drug dealers.
In the past 12 months, we have seized over £2 million worth of drugs from the streets in the city, and those drugs have been destroyed. That's why we've managed to arrest and prosecute 30 drug dealers in the city. 30 people charged with supplying drugs in the city in the past 12 months. That's with the community's help.
But not everyone is ready to turn to the police to rid their estates of drugs. The PSNI are struggling to win the confidence of residents in Republican areas of Derry to gather the intelligence they need.
I wouldn't feel confident to phone the police on anything. The only thing I would feel confident, which would have to phone the police about if my home was broken in for insurance purposes. That's the only reason I would phone the police, because at the end of the day, you don't get anywhere with it. It goes to court, they get a slap in the wrist, and that's it.
Exactly it. Because people see that the drug dealers caught by so many kilos of heroin or whatever that they're taken to court, and the more or less get a slap in the wrist, and they're let out the streets again to supply more. And I think that the court should have a stiffer penalty. I'm sure if my son or my daughter come on full of drugs and reactionary, knowing who's supplying these things, being a parent, being a human being, you want reaction right away. And when there is a vacuum, and that's what we've been living in for 30 odd years. There was a time that paramilitarism and punishment bittings were probably the only solution that people seen. Now, is it right? No, it's not right.
And there's another drugs problem that's attracted RAAD's attention: so-called legal highs. Those manufacturing them use perfectly legal chemicals to mimic the effects of cannabis and other illegal drugs, and the police can do nothing about it. Legal highs are cheap and easy to get, as they can be bought over the counter or on the internet. They're not fit for human consumption, but they're big business, and they're the new drug of choice for young people.
It's so cheap, whereas illegal drugs, it may take a week before you can get more, whereas with illegal stuff you can get it the next day. So you can just keep on going. And if you don't have the money, one of your friends is going to have it, and as I say, a wee bag's only £15, and that'll do about 3 or 4 people for a good couple of hours.
To be honest, they were easier to come off, so there wasn't just like a hangover as you would with alcohol or a fry associated with illegal drugs. These stuff sort of left you feeling okay.
There's a lot of herbal drugs out there and legal highs, and there's a lot of illegal drugs, but in the majority of the time the legal ones are surprisingly better. They give you a better high than the illegal ones.
People think, okay, they must be safe, but as I say, there's not enough money spent on educating people about it or what the long-term effects are going to be. We still don't know. Nobody seems to be able to give answers to the young people.
Relatively little is known about the potential long-term impact of the chemicals found in legal highs. Users can't be certain what they're taking and what the effects might be.
We've had quite a few young people who, in fact, have been tried to take their own lives while on the legal highs. You know, and the very fact they call them legal highs to me and to all people within our communities is simply a joke. The very fact these are drugs, these are dangerous substances, there's no legislation, there's nobody can actually tell you what's in a certain amount of stuff or what is it or where it comes from, and simply because they call it legal highs, it's given a false conception within the communities.
Because legal highs are exactly that, legal, the police are powerless to act, and RAAD have capitalised on that, seeing an opportunity to try to win community support. They're not interested in educating those who use legal highs. Instead, they aim to cut off the supply in the city. Businessman Ray Coyle found out exactly what it's like to fall foul of RAAD. He had been selling legal highs for years. Almost a month ago, a gunman called at his shop.
So I'm smiling at the guy thinking, I must know this guy here. How do you think who it is? I think that's through him a wee bit. But then he started, he was a bit agitated. He was going foot by foot and going, what, right. And he asked me, what's your name? So obviously I gave him a different name. But at that, he pulled out the gun and I had it by his side and I said, gee, this is no wind up, you know, this is serious now. So I figured I have to do something here. So as soon as I stood up to face him, and turned to face him, that's when he just stepped back and started blasting. First bullet caught me just here above the knee, come out the back of my leg there. I fell, I hit the second bullet. That was okay, I was lying on the floor, and the guy had gone towards the door. But in the meantime, I was calling all the bastards of the day, you know. They came back and I seen the gun and I put my leg up. I was letting me back. They try and block it, you know. It seems silly, but it's a reaction. I fired again. The third bullet entered just there, but on my leg and exit out top of my calf. And at that stage, I thought this psychopath, he's just going to empty the gun, you know, he's not going to stop shooting. And then you sort of realise you got this wee bit of shock. So when you see the blood, that's when you really got this shock. It's like, so at that stage I thought, Jesus, I'm going to bleed to death here, you know.
The shooting caused widespread anger, and around 200 people protested against the vigilantes outside Ray Coyle's shop. RAAD's violent bid for public support had backfired.
There was nothing particularly blatant about the shooting of Ray Coyle. Well, Ray is a very popular and genial character around the area. It may well be that the demonstration and the opposition to the shooting of Ray Coyle will have an effect on the way these things are looked on in the future.
RAAD claimed they had already warned Ray Coyle to stop selling legal highs before he was shot.
They're liars. They put a statement in the paper saying they sent a community worker into my shop. They warned me, and the phrase was, they sent a community worker, they warned me, and what was it? In the hope that moral thinking would prevail. That's the words they used. The hope that moral thinking would prevail from this crowd of thugs' moral thinking. This stuff you can sell on the internet, well, you start shooting the postman for delivering.
Not content with shooting those they see as their enemies, RAAD have also endangered their families. Pipe bombs this time were the weapons of choice for these warnings. On one night alone, they claim to have left 5 devices.
The pipe bomb doesn't have to explode to have an effect. You put a device outside somebody's door, they know that the person who has placed that device has some link in with an organisation that can do you harm, or with a group of individuals that can do you harm. So just putting it there can have the same effect as the device exploding.